Hello, everyone. It is March 1st, 2025, and I am over here with my dad, and we're going to talk about a few things that from his treasure shelves, and just talk about maybe where they came from, what memories he might have attached to them, how old they might be, and just as a great little insight into my dad and how he grew up, which we all know was the most magical way ever. And then he imparted that growing up on Eric and I, and then the girls. So anyway, hi, Dad.
Hi, Liz. Well,
Hi.
how nice to see you.
It's nice to see you too. Thank you for joining me here today.
You're wel-
We're going to have an enjoyable half hour, and maybe if it all goes well, we'll go on to the next shelf.
Okay.
Okay, so let's start with, I don't know, what do you want to start with? What do you got in your hand?
What I have in my hand is this is a mustard seed in this little, encapsulated in this clear stuff that I used to carry in my pocket. And there's a parable, I think, about a mustard seed.
Yeah,
Faith like a mustard seed that grows and so on.
yeah.
So anyway.
Who did you get that from?
I don't know. I don't know where I got that, but I've had that for a long, long time.
When do you remember carrying it in your pocket? Like when you were grade school?
Yeah,
or?
I think so. Grade school and maybe even in high school.
Yeah.
This rock right here came from Crazy Horse Mountain.
I remember.
Back in the day, they used to collect these rocks and have them by the door, and you could just pick up a rock. And I have several of these. So
That's pretty amazing.
I remember Crazy Horse before the mountain was ever carved.
When did they start that? Do you remember how old you
Would
were?
have been in the late 40s, 47, 48, 1948. We went down to see. My dad liked to visit and know these characters from the Black Hills, and we went down several times and visited Crazy Horse as it was being carved, and got to talk to Julkowski, the sculptor, and his wife. And in fact, we have a picture. I have a picture of him on his Palomino horse. He truly was bigger than life. But it was, and then we also met the poet laureate from South Dakota, a guy by the name of Badger Clark. And
At Crazy Horse?
no, he had a little cabin down by Custer.
Yeah.
And we drove in, and he invited us in, and it was really cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah, it
Did you
is.
get a book or anything from him?
We have a signed thing from Badger Clark. Yeah. And I
So
have pictures of
How
him.
old were you when you did that? Do you remember?
Again, probably 10, 11, 12 years old.
Wow.
Something like that.
Cool.
This is a Hummel that we had around our house for a long time, and I just remember it as being.
Let me turn around and let's see it.
Yeah.
That's very cute.
Yeah.
So that would have been Grandma's probably.
Yeah, I think, and I don't know, again, the history of it, I have no idea. I have here not all of, but many of my COVID tests.
Just the positives or the negatives as well?
I'm not sure. I think.
Well, how many times have you had COVID?
Twice.
So maybe I only keep my positives.
Anyway, I don't, I actually started to put dates on them, but I don't think I do that anymore.
Yeah. Well, you know what? For posterity's sake,
Oh, wait, I
There-
did put a date on this one.
for those of you in the future, great grandkids, we went through a period of time where we
There are dates on there.
had to take tests to find out if we had this crazy virus called COVID.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have here a pencil from the Katke Golf Course at Ferris State, where Claire went to college.
Awesome.
And I have here a golf tee from Sutton Bay, where, if I remember the story, Claire asked her dad if he would take her to play golf at Sutton Bay. And he said, "When you win a golf tournament, I'll take you." Well, not long after that, Claire did win a golf tournament. And as they're driving home, Claire said, "When are we going to Sutton Bay?" And Tom said, "What are you talking about?" And she said, "Well, Dad." So we all went out and played golf at Sutton Bay. It was
That's
great.
awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, these are two little. There's a marble, probably that I
Played marbles with?
I wasn't a very good marble player. We had some guys in our class, the Cottinghams, that were really good really good marble players.
When you would play marbles, or when your friends would play marbles, because I never played marbles, but when you shoot the marbles and I don't know, whatever the game is, then do you get marbles that
You get to keep that marble if you draw a circle, and I don't even remember anymore, but
what, like cat eyes were a big deal, right? Or what, were there certain marbles that were like, oh, we have to have that one?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Cool.
This is a cup from the first set of dishes that Connie and I had when we were married.
I remember
And then
using those dishes.
Connie's not as sentimental as I am.
No,
And then I dropped it and I broke it, and then I had to mend it.
because that's the only one you kept.
That's right.
I remember.
These things here are made out of pewter, and my uncle Gorm made these.
We have one or two of these as well. I think I might have the same ones. I wonder if.
He signs it GN in '87. Anyway.
Yeah.
Gorm was a very interesting guy. I had a very interesting family. My aunts and uncles and my cousins.
When did Gorm start doing
I
pewter? Do you
think
remember?
I don't remember. But he and Dorothy had they had a store.
Yeah.
And what was it?
Was it called the Country Store or something like that? And she had her pottery.
That's right.
And he had
did
his
the pewter stuff.
And then, did you ever see him do the pewter?
No.
So I wonder.
But my cousin David, his son, he also does some pewter.
Yeah, David made me a ring.
This is a ring. This is my dad's Masonic ring.
I did not know that Grandpa was a Mason.
He was. Anyway.
Was he a Mason here in Sioux Falls or in the hills?
He was a 32nd degree Mason, which is as high as you can go in the Masonic order.
What's the paper?
I priced the ring.
Mm.
Yeah.
So did he ever? I mean, obviously you have to be invited to be a Mason. Is that right?
There used to be a saying. In fact, there was a guy from Lead, Johnny Rowe. Johnny Rowe at a grocery store across the street from my dad's office downtown in Lead, and Johnny Rowe then became the Grand Master of the this lodge here in Sioux Falls. And he told me one day that there's a Masonic saying, and let me if I can come up with it. To be one, ask one. If I want to be a Mason, they're not going to come to me. Now, that's in the olden days. I think today, with all the competition from the Elks and all these other organizations, it's different. I think the Masons are out there recruiting. But back in the olden days, if you wanted to be a Mason, you had to approach a Mason. They weren't going to come and ask you. So I think it was to be one, ask one.
Huh. Did you ever think about doing that?
I did, and then I thought I'm not a very good joiner. I just didn't want to do that. Yeah.
But obviously, Grandpa, because it's very secretive, Grandpa didn't really talk about it.
No, and during the war, when he was in the Secret Service, he had stories about the Masons had a secret handshake. If they were to go in, and if things were a little tight and they didn't have much money, or you went into a store and you shook hands with the proprietor, and you gave him, and he reciprocated. He gave you a break.
Yeah.
I can remember Johnny Rowe, after my dad died, and Mom and I moved to Sioux Falls. I worked for him just part-time for a couple weeks, did some painting at the Masonic Lodge. And he asked me, he said, "How are you guys doing? How are you and your mom doing?" And I said, "We're doing okay. We had rented an apartment, everything." He said, "That's good." He said, "But I just want you to know, we're watching you."
Yeah.
And that's
A brotherhood.
Yes, and they didn't make, and that's all that was said. Now we're going to take care of you, or
But it
nothing like
didn't
that.
matter that Grandpa was gone because you were a part of
That's right.
who Grandpa was.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
we're watching. We're watching you. And I thought to I don't know that I, at that age, 18, 19 years old, whether I,
Really understood.
assimilated or understood that.
Yeah.
But I think I did. I certainly remember him telling me that.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, this is a little top that I got from to Grandpa. Happy Thanksgiving. Love, Sophie.
Spin it.
I don't think it spins very good.
Look at that go. I love it.
Yeah, I do too. And this one, we already talked about this, but this is a gift to Dad from Eric and Elizabeth, or Eric and Liz, and they wrapped this up and put.
Wrapping. It's Christmas. It looks like.
I don't know what it is, and they gave me 2 pen fillers.
Were they the right pen fillers
I have
for
no
whatever
idea.
pen you were using? Do you
I've never
think?
used them. I think they found them on the floor someplace, and it wrapped. I thought it was very nice, very thoughtful.
What about this thing right here?
This
Talking about gifts.
This is a card from Claire to G. Pa Ron. That looks like a little Valentine gift, or a simple hi on Valentine's Day.
Nice.
Yeah. This is a card. When I tore my Achilles tendon playing racquetball, and I was pretty active down at the Y at that time. And this is a card from the people at the YMCA. And
Get well wishes.
yeah.
Theron. Throw down thy crutches, cast off thy cast, and take up a new sport.
Yeah, and it's signed by everybody.
Wishing you well. I love the. Who drew the sumo wrestler?
I don't know, one of the gals in the office.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah,
I like it.
I love it. Yeah. This is a bracelet that I wore. It has my name on it, Theron.
When did you wear this?
Oh, I'm sure I was in grade school. And I don't know how I ended up with it.
Cool.
This is one of my favorite forms. This is a complaint form. Okay?
Yeah.
And it simply says, please write your complaint in the space below.
It's a very.
Write legibly.
Wait, let me focus in on that. Oh, yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Is there a whole pad of them?
Yeah, there's a pad of them.
Looks like you've used some of them.
Yeah. These 2 cups. This was our the pattern for our
Dishes
dishes. That's what they are.
at your house
At
when
our
you were
house.
growing up.
And this was a big cup. And
Yeah.
This was my dad's cup. And then this was his other cup, which we had a whole set of these dishes. I think Stephanie has them now, but they had brands
Yeah.
on them.
Why does Stephanie have them?
I don't know. I think she just got the whole set. And then these little ones were ones that I had. So I ate my cereal, my Rice Krispies.
Hi, pal.
And
I think every once in a while you would let Eric and I use that when we were little.
reluctantly. Because,
But I can remember that, maybe I just remember seeing it on the shelf.